When I was born, I had a bone marrow disease called osteomyelitis, and it affected my growth early on. I was very skinny. So when I was 10 years old, my mother went to a Montgomery ward and bought a bunch of little concrete weights with plastic covers by a company called DP. And that's when I started lifting weights in our garage. And I was one of the only people my age doing that. And I just became a passion of mine, and I didn't really know that conditioning was a profession until I got it in my junior year in college. I really started getting exposed to, we had a new strength coach come in, and he stepped in, and I'd always see him training in a very aggressive manner, but he wasn't our coach. He came in and started training me, and he literally changed my whole perception about myself and what I could accomplish. So I started thinking, well, what can I do to get in the college scene? And then the graduate assistant thing came across. I called every college you can imagine to get into a larger Division I, now as we call it a Power 5 job. And one person called me back, and it was Rock Gullickson. He said, well, come on down, I'll talk to you. I drove down and wore a suit, walked into the Texas weight room, and he offered me the job after a grueling 2-hour interview. My first full-time job was William & Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. From there, I went to University of Louisville, and then I got a phone call from Sam Houston State to interview for the head job there, for the entire, all 12 varsity sports they had. And I was at Sam Houston State for roughly 5 years, and then the morning of 9/11 occurred, Tuesday, 9/11, and that was a very impactful moment for me. When it happened, about an hour later, my grandmother called me, and I'm watching the news, and I'm at work, and, TVs were all on everywhere, and she said, are you watching this? I was like, yes, Joyce. And she said, well, this is like your Pearl Harbor. And when she said that, I immediately felt like I'd just been drafted. A year later, I walked into a recruiting office, and I saw a poster of a Ranger in a swamp up to his chest with his face paint and his patrol hat and his M16. And I said, well, I want to do that. He said, well, we can probably make that work. 6 years in the U.S. Army, transformative time for me. I got out, and my first job was at Rice University, and worked at Rice a year and a half, and I got hired at Louisiana Lafayette for almost 6 years. And then in January of 16, I was offered a job here. The athletes that we coach for 8 hours a week or 10 hours a week, whatever it might be, have a lot more they can put out. They don't know that yet. It's my job to make sure they understand how far they can push themselves. And if I'm not changing that athlete when he walks in the door, their psychological approach, their mental toughness, their physical abilities, if I'm not changing that, then I'm stealing my paycheck. I'm doing them a disservice. The athletes have to know why we're doing this. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing everything that we're doing? And it's not to create, a future military member. It's not to create some mad persona. It's to create a Big 12 champion. And my goal for these guys when they come in is I want them to graduate. I want them to be responsible, hardworking, determined people. And when that happens, alongside with the great coaching that they get and the great resources that we provide, they're going to be successful here.